Okay, we would appear to be on.
I hope so. I very much hope this hasn't been on for very long. I think maybe just switched it on, but who knows. Oh dear. Good. Hey. Sorry, technical difficulties, if you can imagine such a thing. Right, I have here a little selection of inkwells and a lovely handwritten letter from Karen Tweed, all the way from Orkney. I don't know how she does it. I think she handwrites letters to lots of people. She remembers everybody, and yeah, rattles these things out. So it's always really touching to get a handwritten letter, and I always feel terribly guilty that I haven't written back, but I'd have to put half a day aside. Yeah, maybe this would solve that problem. It's not a picture yet though, or is it? It's not. So I need to keep fiddling and rearranging. I think I might just make this like a bundle of paper, like this. Like that. And then these inkwells, I don't know if it's going to show up that they're inkwells. I do hope so. Oh, you can just about see them over my shoulder. I'll see if I can raise this up without throwing the camera everywhere. Which is what was happening before. Let's have a good old party, jumping around the floor. Okay. That's a bit better. Not much. Okay. So it's a simple little image, but a nice little story. Yeah, and it's the story that's important. So welcome everyone. I hope you can hear me. I hope you couldn't hear me earlier. Yes, apologies if you could. I don't get on with technology, I don't like it at all. People seem to have this idea that I'm rather adept at it because of things like this, but it's just pig-headedness and belligerence that makes it happen. I have some leftover paint on this palette from another painting, which I might well resume, as long as those flowers stay alive. I've been trying to paint them in the same half-hour of sunlight every day. So yeah, let's put that to one side. I can always mix it again anyway, now it's already gone off. So yeah, that's not helping anyone. Let's forget about that then. What else? I need my box of old paint. So that's the box I put old paint into. Right. Let's have a look and see if anyone's on YouTube as well. I'm trying to keep up with messages and things like that. If anyone's got something they want to comment, always glad to see it. There might be a small delay before I do see it, but yeah, it will turn up, and I hope you can hear me clearly. Smashing. Now this is going to be very blue today, blues and greens. So that's something to look forward to. Oh, we've got some Pink Floyd coming from next door. Maybe it's from outside. Who knows, we might have a bit of free music. I hope YouTube doesn't shut me down because of it. But yeah, my neighbours are very old, so it's quite interesting hearing like the old music they play, like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, yeah, all the old favourites. There we go. Nice clear space to do some mixing on. I've got a good starting point in this area for mixing a few blues. I might clean that up as well actually. Don't need all of that. That's just going to make a mess. And I don't really want lumps in the paint. I always have lumps in the paint, but I don't want them. So if I can do anything to minimise how lumpy the paint gets, that's a good thing. There you go. That's as clean as I can possibly expect my palette to be. So here we go. We're live on here. Whee! A nice bit of sound. A bit less of a delay. I don't think anyone's in. Oh well. I'll leave that for the battery to run down. Yes, the neighbours do have good taste in music. Ah, Mark, you're here on Facebook. Yes, this is where all the cool people hang out. Brilliant. Right, first thing we're going to do is a bit of drawing. I will probably, sometimes I fiddle around a bit more at the beginning, but I'm just going to go straight into using my thinners. My spirit is still filthy from a previous painting, but seeing as it's just drawing and it's already green, I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I'll probably pause in the middle and clean that up. I've got some blue here, some more umber to make it kind of a warm black. There you go. And then, yeah, a bit more thinners. Make a really thin inky paint there. And it's just for the drawing. So I'm doing this side saddle, as you can probably tell. So I've run out of room. But I have tried to bring this forwards so you can see it better. So I hope. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I hope it's not too far away. And it's just this story of these little inkwells. I rather like that one. I like the way it looks like it's wandering off. I'm going to turn it the other way around. I like the broken necks of them, and these sort of artifacts of someone once having sat down with a quill and some paper and written something. I can bring these forward a bit more as well, because it makes very little difference to the composition, because I'm looking at an angle. So although it's moving them a long way along the surface towards me, it's not moving them very far down the picture. In fact, it will give it a bit more dynamics. And I'm happy to have that letter go off the side. So I'm going to be expanding the size here. I'm going to be actually growing it on the canvas to make it fit a bit more into it. And I might pop in a little quill pen or something. And maybe some things in the background. But first of all, let's tell this little story. And it's just a curve here and a line there. So if I do it from here, you can probably see that little curve, and there's that line. It's different from where I am, I'm slightly over. I still haven't started taping the camera to the front of my face, so you're going to have to. So I've got that little story there, which I like, and see that line where that curve stops. It's a natural place for me to place this this last inkwell. And through it. It goes like that. So that's my visual story. That's all done. Yes. So I'm working in oil. So this first drawing bit, it's almost more like watercolour. It's all thinners, hardly any paint, and certainly no paint with a white content. If you look at the palette, you see these colours look very dark, and these colours look light. That's because these have effectively a white content. So in order for these to work, you'd have to use a lot more of them, and then that covers the surface and makes it oily and mixes in with the next layer of paint. So here I can get this drawing on and really just sort of chuck a load of paint on. The spirit will evaporate and it will leave me with, yeah. So now if I figure out the size I want that bottle to be, so I want it to be that wide. That's not wide enough, I want it wider than that even. So I could take the width and compare it to that whole distance of that curve. If I want the front of this one to be here, then I can just divide that up and say what's halfway along. Halfway along is just the inside of that one there, and now I can see it. Some negative spaces. So yeah, no, they don't come out massive this way. Okay, shadows as well. Actually, no. Shadow all the way across. Yes, no. That would be wider. That would be all the way across there. Okay, now we're talking. Keep saying that. I'm not convincing myself quite yet. There you are. My little swoop of that journey going around. Yeah, that is actually not far off. Chuck some of the darks in. If I get the shape of my letter in according to that, which was going to go here. A little bit in the corner, and then here it'll spread out, and then there's a shadow there. Yeah, there's a shadow here. Okay, and this shadow here. Through there. Okay. Maybe up a bit. Yeah. Further over. Okay, a few changes in size to do here. Oh, that's okay. I can exaggerate this overlap, I think I'm going to need to. And then that will be there. Okay. So that's a rough ballpark of the composition, which I think is quite fun. So I've got a few things to bear in mind. I've got this purpley colour, which is actually not far off what the canvas is at the moment. Oh yeah, let's chuck that in. No, I like the stamp on the letter. I'm going to move it across a bit. Okay, everything's in the same place except for this, which is now going to extend up there. This, which is going to be here. Yeah, that's going to flatten the top of it. Okay. Back to the back to my inky paint. I'm putting in lines here, which yeah, a bit more blue. But they're just measurement lines, really. A lot of this is just preparation. Yeah, okay. But areas of light and dark. So now I can see that shadow goes there. And I'm trying to set some tonal values as well. These are too dark slightly, but nothing too bad. Yeah, okay. Again, there's some shadow colour. There's that. Don't want to be too fussy about lines and edges, but if I can get the general shapes in, yeah, let's lower down than that. Okay. Yeah, that shape comes out of there. This is going to end earlier. Okay, that's much better behaved. And a bit steeper. Okay, that's going to put my stamp right in that shadow. Okay, I can scrub out a few bits and pieces I don't want now. Just a bit of white spirit there. And it all kind of disappears. The white spirit evaporates, you know, in a period of a few minutes. Yeah. So I can kind of paint in those negative shapes now, those negative spaces, like that one. That's quite important. This one, see, that's got to move that back again now. It's actually over here somewhere. Shadows are roughly in the right places. That envelope needs to be bigger. Yeah. Okay, that's enough being fussy about the drawing. I suppose I better get on and mix some paint. Excuse me. So, at this point I want to be fussier about the drawing, but I'm not going to be. I'm not even going to respect it that much when I come to put the paint in, because the paint will have its own ideas. We can see our little story there, the angle here. Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah, I'll back to that one, move up. I'm going to soften that edge just because I'm not entirely sure about it. Yeah, I've got these little bits of the address and what have you. This whole background area over here is going to be a lot lighter. Yeah, than this over here. So I need to really represent that shift. This colour is a tricky one as well, because it is a colour. I'm going to start with some raw umber, just to make absolutely sure that it's going to be a bit gloomy and miserable, because that's what I do. To be true to yourself. There's times I nearly paint a cheerful picture and then Raw umber comes to my rescue and makes everything a bit brown. Okay, that's not actually a bad starting point. It's pretty good for the shadows. The shadows do warm up a little bit. So hang on, let's put a bit of alizarin in there. That's a really strong colour, that's way too much. But it'd be good as a tinting colour, especially underneath the that shadow there. Let's get quite dark. Yeah, no, that's good as a shadow colour. I'm going to keep some of that to the side. Go back in, raw umber, bit of white. Okay, tip these up a bit so I can see a bit more. That should be okay. Okay, so that's pretty dark there. So I'm going to mix a medium one and then a light one. So I can do the medium one first and then take some of that and make the light one from it. So I'm just going to add white to this. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to put oil in it as well to make it go a bit further, because I'm doing all this in one go. Alla prima, as it were. Which it's Italian for at the first, or something. Okay. Is that enough? I'm not sure that's going to be enough paint. I'm going to need more than this. But it was a simple recipe. So let's make some more. Let's put it slightly to one side. Let's just check this isn't going to pollute it. No, that's okay underneath. Okay, we'd like to add some more umber. And some alizarin. Not too much. Okay, that'll do for my lighter one, I think. You know, as it gets brighter over there, it's actually quite a cool light, but I'm going to warm it up slightly. So I can make a few versions of this. I'm not going to do it directly with a bit of yellow in there. I'm going to take some white, I'm going to put some yellow in it. And then I'm going to take a little dab of that, really just what's left on the knife when I've scraped everything I can off. Mix that in, just on one side. We'll lighten it a bit more. Okay, so I've got a nice graduation that goes across to go across the canvas now. And I can always work into it on the surface as well as it goes along. So let's have a little look, see how that appears. I still haven't cleaned my white spirit. Hopefully this won't make everything green. We'll see. So I've got sort of a rough idea of my tonal values there on the surface. Because I'm starting with a grey actually. Let's go for this middle one, maybe even somewhere in between the two. Let's mix that up and see how it looks. Okay, that's definitely going to be my dark over here. Okay, so if I go to the lighter one, it's really only going to carry me into these bits. So let's pop that into a little bit of white there as well. Okay, let's see how this looks. Yeah, that'll do it. And there's some of the light bits. Well, it's lovely to have people coming along and joining me and keeping me company in the studio. Otherwise it's just me talking to myself. I mean, really what you're witnessing is no different to what normally happens. I don't usually make quite as much effort to talk through what I'm doing, but I will still chat to myself. Actually, it's just me and the cat. And, okay, so that's a nice little negative space there. Let's pop that in, just keep it all really simple. And it's the colours and the tones that are going to do the work for me. The tones are a big part of this. I was boring friend of mine earlier. There's Matt, in fact, who is here with an explanation of he asked if I could paint in black and white, and tried to explain that it's kind of vital that part of you is thinking in black and white when you're painting. The tonal values need to be balanced. That's a funny angle that needs to change later. Later, it will be later. That's a little reminder for me to change that later. It gets brighter, so just patch that in. There we are. Hopefully that's starting to kind of work already. That'll be a bit over there as well. Should probably be closer to these bits here. Yeah. In fact, if the older, Florentine ateliers that churn out people who will paint the same, but albeit they teach them a really sort of what's the word? Appealing and reliable method for making paintings, which if you were going to study and then go and try and make your way in the world as a portrait painter or something like that, it's really good stuff to know. How it darkens off a bit here. But yeah, that's, I think the first year or something, maybe 2 years, you're not allowed near a colour. You've just got to work in black and white. And once you've got the hang of black and white, usually copying casts and other drawings and bits and pieces. Once you've got the hang of that, only then are you allowed a limited range of colours. Okay, that comes in a bit further. So all the time I'm kind of trying to match up measurements, see abstract shapes, and get this to behave itself really. Some of these textures, it's a bit light in there. Simple shapes, don't get too carried away. I'll bring it over into the light bit there as well, which I don't really want to be doing. Okay, and this is just for the sake of getting a block colour down. I can always work into it later. I can always add stuff to it, either colour shifts or tonal shifts. I'm going to borrow a little bit of the shadow colour there. Let's pop that over here. Drop some of that in where it's needed. So we've got the light through these glass bottles, which has a colour shift. It's a lump, lumps. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah, a bit in there as well. Yeah, this is fade out at the edge. So I'll keep these edges soft. Yeah. There you go. Well, thank you, Mark. I'm glad someone finds this interesting. Well, of course people do, those of us who are here. I think most people just sort of, if they happen across it, they'll go, oh, nothing's happening, and then they leave again. But there are select discerning few who get how interesting it is to sit and make a painting and figure some stuff out. I mean, every time I do it, it's teaching me something. There are some stronger marks in here. Yeah, I'm going to get some of this oil. I'm going to mix up some of this light colour here. And like I said, I might work into it more later on. Oh, someone's along on YouTube. Welcome, YouTube viewer. These are pretty much the last days of the very. Ooh, exactly. It's too yellow, isn't it? The very private little club of live streams. It's been due a sort of a proper launch for quite a while, so that's coming. I don't know when. I may never get around to it, but it doesn't make any difference to us, does it? Because we already know. Okay, extra bit of light in there. Just as a brush mix, just pop a bit in. Yeah, there you are. I needed that little jump up, didn't it? A little change in light values. And there's some of these colours inside the bottles as well, in small quantities. With a little bit in there. Also got to be wary if there's any sort of yeah, well, let's go back and make that a pinker version. In the letter there. Yeah, let's pop some of that in. A little light on either side, and it'll be bluer bits as well, but for a starting point, it's not too bad. Okay, a bit more light, a bit more yellow. Really chuck it on this side. Another dab of oil, keep it flowing. Again, quite often, if you're starting on oil painting, especially if you want to work over it in layers, and that's going to get lighter and bluer. You wouldn't put oil in the first layer because you want to be able to work over it when it's dry and really leaving. Oh, it's gone a bit green. It's got a bit pinker again. It's so interesting. So steering this colour around the colour wheel. We've already got a bit of variety going on. That's good. As I said, I was going to accentuate that overlap there. I think it really tells the story about how that's a folded piece of paper, and I can't get that line to go straight. No, I can. Good. Great. Brighter there. A bit brighter down the front. I can even go a bit further with it here. I think it's. Extra bright colour. A little bit of it here, a little bit here. Probably work the blue into that afterwards. Okay. Yeah, there's a bit of that glow on the front of that. It's just a contrast thing, really. Down further. So I'm going over the edges and everything. I want the brush marks to go in different directions. Otherwise they'll just trail around the edges of the object. So there's the little sort of desert of paper that it's turning up on. I may as well go straight ahead and try and finish that off. So there's a bit more white into this mix. I'm actually going to make it a bit less yellow, it's a bit more blue. There we go. Oh, another one. Okay, thank you. Off. There we cut some of those edges a bit. Bring that light around. So we've got this curve here, now we've got another one coming around here a bit. Yeah, I'm fairly comfortable with that. I'm going to go over these edges a little, just to accentuate the contrast when the shadows go in. Okay, it's looking quite light at the moment. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down the size of the brush. Still quite green. I'm going to take some of this shadow colour over here. And see how that works. It's going to be really red in there. I like that though. I'm going to use that. It's going to be very red in there. Let's go with that. Yeah. Maybe I should just get blur in a bit. Okay, I'll do a sort of blur version just next to it. I'm just going to go here. Yeah, I'll do it. Doesn't have to be super fussy. In fact, if it's a bit rough, that's better. The very darkest bits, where they go. And I'll work into it with the light afterwards just to soften it down. So that's a hard edge, that shadow there, that's got to be a hard edge. And it's all a lot softer over here. Over here, it's not so much, but there is still a little bit in there. But I haven't got that background in, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Soften that out so it goes to the edge. Same there. And then let's work back into it with some lighter colours. I might even start with a bit of green. It's not going to be too much. And that'll do it. Yeah. Yeah, so there's all of that around there. All of that little light bit is in here. And there's this whole area of light that kind of glows out inside that bottle. It'll make a lot more sense when the actual green of the bottle is in. Is that red in it? Okay. I'm going to do some extra dark shadow just where it's needed under here. There we go. Let's go all the way through that. Smashing. Dark edge under there. Now back to this one. Just this lighter bit of shadow. There. Come on. Okay, I'm going to go for a really red version of that shadow now, just see what I can get away with. Oh, cheeky. Yeah, that was quite fun. Let's mix that into that shadow colour here, see if we can do something with that. Right, that's telling me that front of that bottle is further over as well. If that's that edge there, yeah, front edge of that bottle must be all the way down here. It actually goes back a little bit. I don't fit up. Okay, any other reds in here? Just that one, which I already did. This one, which is sort of where it's a deeper shadow, so that'll bring out the greeniness. Where it gets lighter. Lighter in there. Pretty much go all the way back to this light colour here. Cut that back in again. Hard edge and then softer edges. Okay. That's that green that definitely needs to be lighter. Here, where? Yeah. Yeah, that's the front edge of the bottom. Hey. Okay. Now a bit of that light green. See how cheeky I can be. Not cheeky. Very cheeky indeed. Yeah, I want to get the sense of that light travelling through the bottle and just sneaking through underneath here as well. Yeah, a bit lighter there. Not too much. No, I think that'll be okay. Smashing. Okay, what other colours do I need to mix? I want to relate them to these colours. So that creamy colour for the envelope, that whitish colour, that's, they've all got to relate to it. So the creamy colour for the envelope, but if I get some yellow ochre, pop it there, put some white in it. You see a relationship between those two things, which kind of relates to what's over there. It's more of a lemony yellow. It's going to be lighter, and then I can darken it with a, I can mix the actual colour, which is that one. And obviously this is the strongest version of that colour I can do. That isn't what I want to put on at any point. So I need to make a greyer version of that, which means I need a purple to neutralise it. So I'm going to keep a tiny bit of that just there, and then, well actually I think there's a bit of blue, there's a bit of that. Pop them in, lighten it right up. I should have something beginning to approach. Yeah. Ah, so I've got that hard light at the edge. That's pretty much what this is. So it needs to be only slightly lighter than this one. So probably about that tone there. Let's take some of that. See if that works. Pop a bit on. See what it does. Does that do the job? Yeah. You can see how dark it looks on the palette, especially compared to that bright light. Put it on actually. It's pretty pale. Okay. Let's keep going in with that. So, slabs of paint. What time's that? It's 10 o'clock. Get around quickly. So, a few more negative spaces. Let's sort of try and define roughly where this goes. Okay, I'm realising now that that's greener. Raw umber in there as well. We've got a whole shadow areas like this. Okay, so we've got green version and brown version to go. So it's the brown version and green version. It's hard to tell. Now that's green version there. And we're back to a slightly lighter version. Really subtle little changes, little reflections of that bottle. Okay, now we're finding it. So a bit of patience. Okay, so keep using that brush on the edge and trying to draw a line. And every time I do, I need to catch myself. But stop it. See, I did it again. Okay, that's okay, that was painting his shape. Okay, and around here, that's I really need to work into there, get the edge of that yellowy colour. Yeah, I need this to be more purpley so I can get some red bits. Yeah, it's not a million miles off. It's a bit there, and there. Okay, definitely a darker, bluer version down here. With that contrast between that bit. Do the same thing here. There's a bit of that showing through. That should be a bit lighter now. Still feel like that's too much yellow to keep putting in. No, it's alright, it's creating a tonal jump, which I'm quite comfortable with. Warm it up ever so slightly. This over here. And there. What else over here? Warm it up slightly. So that relationship between the background and that, ooh, yeah, get too cheeky again, good. Some little creases in the paper, soften them down, just leave that like an edge. That shadow's going to go further up, but that's okay. Again, little sort of creases. If I make an even darker one here, And that should do a few things. It should do. I've been brave there, because I don't put it on before I know if it's going to work. Let's try a bit in the shadow. Yeah, actually not dark enough or green enough. But it will do, a red version will do for that shadow there. So crease on the front. Yeah. And some of these bits here. Creases at the edge. And that colour is also pretty useful for the shadows over here, which do go darker. Okay, so those shapes. There's that corner. I like that corner. Bit of that there. Now that's on, we can make a lighter version of it. The other bits of paper. Marking up into there, very gradually. There to there. Okay, it's working. A bit more white. Get a bit of oil. Get it sit up, flow around, sit on the top. Yeah, it's going to brighten up much more at the edge there. It still needs to have a bit of, yeah, a bit of a tonal change from here to here because of that white edge on the envelope that's going to come in. Do for that. Oh, like a bit of a shine just on the inside. Level that across. Okay, here we go. That's going in. Okay, now I'm going to go very, very light. Get a lot of light in there, and I'm going to borrow a little bit of that yellowy light as well. Hopefully this will glow a bit. Yeah. Okay, not too many strokes, try and keep them simple. Try and bring some of that light out of here. Lighten that corner up, so I need that contrast from the background. It's got to do its job properly, which is there, and that works pretty well. Yeah, so this whole balancing act thing. A little bit here. That's really a section of that page. I don't want to be thinking about this edge as much. And similarly along here, that's a brighter bit. Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of like a folded over piece of paper. It's not quite there yet. I'm not 100% happy with that, but it's a start. shadow's going to be higher up. We'll borrow a few of these highlights to go in this paper here. Just pride that up where it needs to go. Change it around a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go back to my super bright highlight here, and I'm not putting oil in this paint, I'm just going to let it sit right up. And let's see if it does its job. Yeah, there you go. Little sections because of this sort of creased edge of the envelope. There we go. Okay. Right, I'm going to have a little break so I don't overdo it. Like this, for example. That's where that shadow has to move to. A little bit of extra light. I was so talking about mixing on the surface. Bit of a push and pull there. If I go back to this, make it slightly up here, and a bit brighter even. I can do this what's required with that. Yeah. That'll have to do it anyway. Lumps everywhere. Yeah, see there's this light edge at the edge of the paper there. How to do that? Yeah. Where else is this going to go? There's a bit of light that's going to go in there. A bit of light that's going to go in there. That should help me along. Yeah, also doing the bits of writing on these letters is really going to help at the last minute. Yes, nice little picture of some inkwells. I'm going to have a little pause, and I'm going to come back and put in the inkwells and the details and what have you. Oh, you know what I should do last thing before I do that? I should get some more of that shadow colour. The one I was using all over. I should mix it in with some of that. Colour of the envelope and just chuck in a few. It's amazing how simply that works. Chuck in a few of these shadow shapes. So I've got a good idea of how that goes. Somewhere within that. It's actually really, yeah, it's going to be the really bright blue of that stamp. That should be fun to do. So yes, looking forward to all of this, but can't do too much all at once. Because then I'll start to ruin it. So it's important to have a little break. So I'll do 5 minutes. So yeah, don't leave. Well, obviously you can do what you like. But yeah. I'm wondering if I need more in this composition. Ah, still here. Henry's here too. Excellent. Actually, I think this will be enough. I could put more stuff in, sort of over here, things in the background. Like, I mean, I could turn that into a quill and then have an actual bottle of ink behind it. Like I'm ready to reply. I'll leave that there to contemplate. Yeah, I'm just going to get some. Keep my brushes are clean. Just a few days overdue, to be honest. But there you go. Now these are going to be individual brush mixes to get these ink wells in, and I think I might introduce a bit of another colour. Now I've got a lovely little cobalt blue. It is. Put that down there. A bit more ultramarine down. Everything's still showing up, good. So I do often wonder if anyone ever sort of paints along, has anyone ever got this in the background while they're painting. I'd love to be able to put someone else painting on while I have a go at something. I think it would be quite interesting to see how it steers it. Oh, Catherine's here. Hi Catherine. Casey's joined us all the way from, thinking it was a Carolina or something, but I can't remember which one. There's too many states, you see. They should have gone for like 6 and then everyone would be able to remember them. Okay, I'm going to need some more white as well. Yeah, okay, so actually, that reminds me, now Casey's joined us. I've been doing some online drawing classes on Wednesdays. Really this month has just been giving people a chance to come along for free and try out that method of doing things online, dealing with the screen and all the rest of it. And for those who are sort of comfortable with the technological side of things, using computers and what have you, and find it doesn't get in the way or disturb their fun. North Carolina, that's it. What did I say? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So I've been giving people a chance to find out, what that's all about, and I think quite a lot of people have found they can get on with it. So if you know of anyone who wants to get into drawing, and especially if they're locked down at the moment, do let them know about it. This Wednesday is the last free one before I properly launch, and then it will be like a proper course. So it's going to be serious. There'll be all sorts of materials and bits and pieces for. This is my light colour for people to practice and build their skills with, and videos and workbooks and what have you. So it'll be a step-by-step thing to really practice your drawing and see what you can find out about yourself, what happens when you sit down with a piece of paper and go to make something. I think it's a very edifying thing to do. It's a good word, isn't it? Edifying. Okay, I'm going to go with the sort of medium light first. That's pretty good. Yeah, so I'm finding my way in. Maybe I should go for a darker one first. A bit more mediocre. This isn't very bright though. I mean, I can go so much brighter than this. But actually, I think this is a good start. Now I need a darker colour as well. Where else can I see this as well? I can see this in a few places. So there's a bit. There's a bit in here. It sort of fades out as it gets to the top. There's definitely a bit in there. That's yellow. But then again, it would be, because it's got that yellow behind it. Okay, so there's some lovely colours coming in. Some of those shapes in, make that a bit more defined. And in here. Oh my god. Oh yeah, so I had quite a murky version of that yellow colour. See, I think that's too light now. Or is it? Yeah, it definitely needs to be darker. Right. Let's mix up some dark. Let's put a bit of that yellow in it. Okay, now we're talking. And then let's put some of that green into it. I'll add some blue and a bit of vermilion. If I mix that in, let's see if this does it. Yeah, that's much more like the colour. Should be slightly darker than what's behind it. Okay, I'll put some darks in on top of this afterwards. Back here. Oh yeah, it's good for the paler bit at the top. A bit extra dark, a bit extra yellow. That one there. If you can hear a television, it's not my neighbours, or it's not my direct neighbours. There's an extra floor up on the other side of the road. So it's a sweet little old lady who's deaf as a post and has all of her windows open. What fun. yeah, so I get to listen to the news, which isn't always to my taste, but there you go. Okay, so I'm just putting in simple shapes, and it should be building a structure that hopefully I can work into. I'm thinking mostly in terms of tone and strength of colour. So if I go into the sort of the green a bit now. Extra intense colour there, I'll put that in first. I'll put the lights on afterwards. There's quite a lot. There's quite a lot of the actual background colour showing through. When that's in, yeah, let's put it everywhere that it goes. Blue and green. Strong colour. Hey. Okay, where else can I see that? Yeah, I could see it a bit in there. No, I'm getting carried away. Okay. The bluer one is definitely this one in the middle. Yeah, some extra bits of dark in there. Yeah, it's not super bright there. Okay. I'm going to mix some more of this black colour. And there's a green version of it, just next to it. Little neighbour. And then, is this going to work? Yeah. So that's, yeah, that's that very dark greeny blue. Gives me that edge there. That shape and this shape here. Okay, so that broken neck of the inkwell. That's the sort of thing that as a viewer then not necessarily expecting it. So you've really got to show that if you want it to work. This is an interesting little shape. That's a corner. Does it look like a corner? No, that should get a whole lot lighter there as well. Let's borrow some of that light from there. See if we can make that work. We go here too? Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, so I'm just having a chat with these colours and tones and not asking them simple little questions like, here's the colour I'm trying to get. And most of the time it'll say no, but that's okay because it gets you that little bit closer. Like a game of 20 questions, which I think is an analogy that I've used before. 20 questions is quite a remarkable game. It tells you something about how information works, really. I'm not worried about this being perfect at the moment. is a browner version of this. Ah, no, that's too dark. Can I work it in? I don't know. What about here? That's more like it there. That's what I've mixed it for. So I put it in the wrong place like an idiot. Okay. Yeah, don't have to be too fussy. Dark edge there. The lights at the end will really lift this. Okay. Some of those stronger blues. What does that line do? It wants to go down to this point here. Just going to turn this off. It travels downwards ever so slightly. It's too much. Dark there. Yeah. Now the other one here. Right, it all needs to get greener. All of this is much greener. Let's see how much green we can make it. Still saying in the dark colours. Okay, that's too fiddly now. Okay, is that a better green? That's a better green. Can I see it anywhere else? There's some there. It travels across. No, that's a yellow green. That's a bluer green in there. Maybe that'll be okay. No, again, yellower, browner. It's okay, we'll come on to that shortly. Yeah, there is a bit more green colour over here. What else is okay? Okay, get another brush on the go. Slightly smaller one, I think. I'm going to concentrate on this here. Get those shapes in there. Paint the yellow colour there. Definitely in here. Green yellow. There's a nice gap. There we go. Where else does that turn up? A little bit here. Just that edge over there. Okay. Ah. You can only see the two bottles on the right. No, I see what you mean. It's because of the position of the camera. I'll see if I can move it over a little bit, actually. How's that? I'm not sure if that's any better. It's a slightly different position you're looking at it from me. Where was I? Oh yeah, bit of extra light in here. extra lights in that bit. Around there. Now it's slightly more bleached out over here, so I'm not going to put that colour in there where it isn't needed. Maybe a little bit down this bit. Maybe that's enough. So the bleached out version is going to look a bit more like that. Yeah, that's much better. Into that base a little bit as well. Okay, that was too much. And then we've got highlight colour. Where's that going to go? That's too much at the moment, so I might use a bit of oil in that. Turn a little down. Just to soften it up a little bit, especially where I want it to go into these areas here. I can work it in with that corner of the brush. And then check some of those brighter highlights on with the amber. Okay, it's not quite going to do it, but that's okay. Can always go a bit further. I'm starting to turn up there. I think that's working okay. Again, I got rather carried away with just the one there. I'll chuck a whole load more green in here. So when it comes to these bits, it gets really green and really bright. Lighter. Yeah. Flash of green light across there. A little tip in there. Is that too much? No, I think that's okay actually. Works into the whole of that space. Yeah, that's working in. A bit in there. That's enough. I'll fiddle with that too much if I'm not careful. What's it going to do? Oh yeah, really dark yellowy green. It's more browny actually. Just to go into this bottle here. That still isn't dark enough. A little bit more brown. Okay, I've got too fiddly here, so I need to snap out of that. Where's the shape? There's the shape. There's the shape. Track some down again. And here, dark shape in the middle, which might get strengthened as I go along. Okay. Weird yellow version of that here. Let's pop that in. Flick it under there as well. Where else is it? Across here. Oh, that's enough of that. Back to the main event. Dark. It's quite forgiving. this whole dark area on the inside, which I did kind of prepare for. That's the ugly marks I just made. It's no good. Yay, okay. There's no shape there, this can all go in here. Okay, to this green. Yellow or green, I think. Yeah, it's almost quite a strong colour, that one. Just did that mark twice, even though I didn't need to. Concentrate. Right, no, that's not it. Let's go back to this. This little shape here. This one here. And we've got this yellowy green. It's slightly lighter, it sort of wanders around the back there. That's good. So it carries on in here. Everything. And it sort of turns up in the middle as well. It's slightly wobbliness of the glass. Oh, yeah, there's the right one. Again, lighter version. Okay, that's better. We can bring some of that light back in there. Nice. Now, where else can I put this? There. I've already done this. Okay, so again, this is this rather peculiar, slightly yellowy green. There, that's good. It's meant to be darker. Put a bit of a ridge in just to clean that up. Let's put some of these dark shapes in, put the sparkly bits in afterwards. That's there. Again, I can't always know how big a job this is going to turn out to be, or how much I've taken on, but yeah, occasionally it will go out to 2 hours or something. This should stay under 2 hours, I think, if this is anything to go by. Just a few highlights to go on at the end. And I rarely redo anything, so if I get it wrong, it stays wrong. so that's how that's working. Okay, a bit blue in there. That was bad. Okay, I've got a lot of these background colours. So quite a lot of structure. I'm going to look for that middling colour. It's more like this, but a lighter version. Too clean. that dark green. Where was that? More yellow than you think. Too yellow. Just try a bit of that cobalt blue, see what that does. Make it a bit more intense. And it does. That's good. Got that little spike there. Okay, I am hurrying with this now. Blue up. Oh, well, I like that cobalt blue. I want a bit more intensity on this one because it's right in the foreground. Again, I shouldn't try and do a line, I'll do that with a vertical stroke instead. Same there. Some extra shadowing with that. Let's put some of that line back. Okay, back to this rather peachy colour. Good, some of that in there. A bit of that in there. A bit in here. So I'm using some of that background colour as well here. Bits of this, so you can quickly see through without even cleaning the brush. I should be able to get a bit more of that one. Define that edge. It's in. Where else does it go? Yeah, now it's sort of mix between the two. I'm so interested in the way you find your way into these colours. That's a little highlight there. Doesn't have to be super duper perfect. Okay, that's a shape. That's a bit in there. Yeah, some tricky stuff going on. There's some interesting little purples and what have you, which is what I'm trying to find my way to now. Let's borrow a little more of that. Let's see if it comes off. Yeah, that works. A mixture between the two. Go in there, and there. Hey. Okay, I think I'm starting to find it now. And there. Now if I can get the highlight colours right. Which I'm hoping I can. Then it should work. So I've got this rather yellowy green here. Let's chuck a whole load of the light in that. Let's see if we can do a flat brush. A dink that go across. Yeah, so in here. That does it. That's it lighter. There's a bit. I could do some more colour in there, but that will come later. So this, I'll prepare for a bit of extra light later on. What else? Okay, there's quite a lot of colour on there do some of those darts again. I'll try a round brush, see if that helps. This one worked pretty well. Pop some of that back in there. Yeah, some of its edges. Okay, so we've got an edge on that. Yes. Got an edge on this, I've already done that bit. Yeah. That's good. This down here. Back. Get it on there. That bit in here. What the hell was I looking for before then? I can't even find it anymore. Right. Extra darks. No, bit of oil just to get it to float up. That's probably too much. Do it on there. Yeah. Not sure if that's working, but there you go. Now, that's what I was trying to do before. Right, I'm being overly fiddly with this now. What I need is to do some highlights. Okay, nice bright highlight along there. Nice bright highlight in there as well. What else? Let's bring a bit of the edge out. In there. Is that enough? That'll be fine. Okay, strong green highlights. Use some of this lemony yellow just to bring them up. And they will go. Yeah, is that going to work? Really want these to sparkle. Dancing right as we go along. And there's some very white highlights here, so these need to be lighter. Some very white highlights. Actually, white and more bluey, I guess. I've got that shape there. This is definitely time for a tiny bit of oil. White. Zing. Another ugly mark. Let's try that one more time. Zing. That was it. Bits in there. Thing in the corner. Didn't quite take. Or did it the second time? Okay, let's try a few of these highlights over here. See if they look any better. No. What about over here? Oh yeah. Oh no. Does it on there. Ping. last things I need to do are, I'm going to pick up a bit of that colour, put it in the inside. It's on the palette somewhere, I don't know where, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Now, I've got that red colour, which is what I'm going to use for the ink. Let's pop it down here, put some oil in it, just to get it to flow. A little bit of that cobalt. And I'm going to have some letters here. Orkney. I have to try and remember not to remember what the words say. I do have a rather weird ability to read upside down. Well, it's not weird to me, I always thought it was normal. Like if you're inside a shop and there's writing to be read from the outside, you can read it from the inside just as easily. But unfortunately, it turns out that actually I'm just, the speed it would take anyone else to do that is the speed I read normally. So not really a superpower after all. Little flower in the corner and with a what's the violin? Yeah, it's a little violin in the corner. Maybe it's a double bass. So I've had the good fortune of playing music with Karen, wonderful recording player. It's not very often I say that. Okay. And the last thing is the stamp. Using that cobalt blue. I'll pop it here. There's a tiny bit of white with it just so it really shows up as a colour. Yes. Now the corner is going to be outside of that shadow. And the rest of the stamp is going to be inside it. No, still needs to be much bluer than that. Just a bit darker. And of course this is also a soft shadow, so don't want to overdo it. Right. I'm going to clear a space. That's done. That looks ugly, but I can bring the surrounding colour back afterwards. Yeah, just to be even bluer. I think I'll make this the most blue part of the whole thing. Really blue. And then some kind of picture on these stamps, don't they? soften that. I mean, I say I was flattered to receive a handwritten letter. I have just noticed that she'd only put a second class stamp on it, so. Oh well. It's nice to know where you stand, isn't it? That's nowhere near big enough, is it? What a pig's here. What an idiot. Right, okay, let's try that again, shall we? I think it just needs to be taller. I think that's all. It needs to go further out this way. A bit lighter, just a bit. Hey, there we go. Just a couple of little marks. Go back to my little grey that I made. Postmark. Okay, add some deeper shadows in here, didn't I? Let's just refine those a little bit. Okay, that was all right. Not so bad. Let's probably a little bit of that blue. Bring it to life. Little bits of the lettering through the inside of the jar. A really dense dark one. So it comes out. Yeah. Right, I think that's pretty much done. That was a bit of fun. It was interesting little experiment into sort of trying to tell a little story with these inkwells. Maybe something to do with posting letters, I don't know. I still think that stamp should be bigger, but it's not a big enough deal for me to worry about it. So the last thing is some proper highlights. It's rare that I get all the way to white, but every now and again I do. And this is one of those times, so we may as well celebrate it, have some fun, and say, you can be white there. You can be white. Really want that corner there to be proper white. I'm not going to have enough time. That's better. And a sparkle of white there. And a sparkle of white here. And a tiny one there. To make a bit of space for that. Yeah, so while I'm doing these live streams, I mean, obviously, I don't really live here, sort of tatty studio, it's just for effect, but I come here, you know, from my mansion to, you know, because it's a good set. Obviously, I don't take in my luxury home, so I just get the helicopter to keep circling until I've finished. So the pilot gets a bit impatient when I take a bit longer, like on this occasion. But yeah, you can wait. It's what I'm paying for. Yes. There's still a few little things that just need tidying up, and I don't know how fussy to allow myself to be. There's a sort of pink or white. It's the edge of that piece of paper. It's just in here. Top edge there. Turns up a little bit here. Yeah, that corner's too dark. Again, warm blue on. There we go. Get away with that. And I think that's me done. Oh, there's always other things to fiddle with, but there's no point getting carried away with it. I'm seeing them now, but well, what are you going to do? I think it would have benefited from the sort of the quill and the ink in the background, but I don't know. I don't want to be overly fussy. Oh. I wouldn't consider this this a class, Catherine, but I started this at 9:15 my time. I like to do it at a really difficult time, so that only the very dedicated people that are prepared to suffer get to see it. Thank you, Mark. John Singer Sargent had some wonderful quotes. Yes, every artist needs a man with a club standing by him to beat him round the head when the painting was finished. Well, how's the man with the club going to know, frankly? I think you need an internal version of that. But yes, you're quite right. When I do demonstrations, I get everyone to shout, "Stop fiddling," and they like to be able to shout out because what people enjoy joining in, don't they? I mean, I personally don't. But yeah, and they really get into it because there's always another thing to fiddle with. The last thing I'm going to do to this is not fiddling, it is something else entirely. And I think some cobalt blue is in order for it. And it's going to go down there, and it's going to look like that. Yeah, one of my favourite. Thanks, Matt. I doubt I'd survive. That's volunteers to beat me around the head with a club. Yeah, I mean, I'd say yes if I could hit him back if he hit me at the wrong time, and there was in fact something else I could do to make it better. But I wouldn't be conscious enough to do that. It'd be the Rochambeau situation, so that ain't happening. Now, I'm going to borrow this. I have another one of these filters and I couldn't find it today. It wasn't playing ball at all. So if I do this, I should be able to get rid of any kind of shine. It wasn't not playing. Come on, easy over a bit. That's that. It's a bit of a delay. There we go. And volumes. What do you want? Fuss. Yeah, so I'm quite pleased with that. Which I have to be really, because this organisation does not tolerate failure. Yeah, that was an interesting little story to tell today. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I may well go back and sort of fix it later. Sometimes you need that bit of a pause, but in terms of following through the whole process and getting everything in, I quite like the shadows. I thought, there you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think the shadows work fairly well with this one. I'm quite satisfied with those. Oh, there's my subject matter over there. So yeah, next week I might try and do something. I had this. I was momentarily a little dejected as I volunteered to join in with this. What was it? Portraits for NHS Heroes. It was a thing that started on Instagram, and turns out you had to put a thing up on your account with the picture and a green thing saying you're available and the hashtag, and then I got 3 within 45 minutes. So next week I might try and do a portrait from a photo and share that with you, and yeah, hopefully continue to do exactly the same kind of thing as I'm doing with still lifes, which is tell a little visual story and hopefully get a bit of a feeling into it. I hope I caught a little bit of what it is like to, that sense of handmadeness and a private space and the little objects of creation that are implied by a handwritten letter and the joy of receiving it. And since there's no man with a club here, I'm going to do one last thing. I can't help myself, but it's got to be right. It's got to be right, and the angle on that little fold on the letter was wrong. That background colour, tighten up that edge. That's fine now. Thank you very much for joining me, and yeah, next week, Monday, same time, 9 o'clock, and then I thought I might do a celebratory summer change of time. So once it's staying late, a light later, then I'll start painting earlier, so I can do it all within the same lighting setup, and use a bit of daylight, and hopefully make things a bit cheerier. Is it all there? That doesn't look fair, does it? Come on. Yeah, you do. There we go. So, yes, Drawing on Wednesday, last chance to join in for free, see if you like it, give it a try. But have a look on my website, jamesbudden.co.uk, and all the information is there for signing up and what the courses will be about and what kind of general torture you can expect. And yeah, I look forward to melting your brain. See you next week. Bye.